All this GR Cup action is proudly brought to you by Toyota Gazoo Racing. Welcome to the Mother City, the city of Cape Town, and another round of the Toyota Gazoo Racing GR Cup. Great to be heading back to the Mother City where we can do a little bit of a chilling out, maybe catch a bit of the sights and sounds of the Cape Peninsula. And there's some really awesome sights and sounds if you get down to the Mother City, of course, before you head down and get some happy feet to the Killarney International Raceway for round 6, the penultimate round of the Toyota Gazoo GR Racing Cup. A massive crowd has joined us here at Killarney International Raceway for the penultimate round of the Extreme Festival of Motorsport, proudly presented by Coca-Cola Beverages South Africa, and Toyota Gazoo Racing GR Cup are in the house with a full field. We've got big races expected, 2 championships that could be wrapped up here today, and lots of action to happen over the weekend. 2-race format as always this time out. Hopefully we get both races in, as we saw in East London. That didn't quite happen. They are definitely up for grabs, and as qualifying started, you could see just how hard the guys were pushing to get to the front end of the field. Some local knowledge will definitely come into play here, and some slipstream ability definitely going to be put into the test when you go down the back straightaway here at Killarney International Raceway. Big fights at the front end with Jason Coetzee trying to wrap up the 86 league. Ken Swartz, his closest rival. When the checkered flag came out, it was a big surprise to see Kyle Koch on pole.
You number 1, bro. No ways. 124, you beat Nabil. What did we say yesterday? Ah, well done. Yes!
You can see he's a happy man there, getting to the front end of the media challenge and outgunning Nabil Abdul, the man who would be champion here today if he just finishes up the 2 heats. Mario D'Souza, the first of the Corollas, there in 3rd place, and Devon Scott outgunning Jason Coetzee down in 5th place in the 86s. Coetzee also just has to finish both heats today to wrap up the title in the 86 Brigade. It's going to be a big fight on track and a huge field of cars that are about to go to battle for the first time today. Let's catch up now with Jason Coetzee.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite nice, especially being at home. But yeah, I mean, I think the plan is still to try and win as much as we can. So yeah, let's see what we can do.
Mario D'Souza was top of the Corollas and the dealer team challenge.
This morning I thought, it's going to be tight, and but I was very chuffed. We managed to put it on pole, broke the 25s, we did a 24.9, Devon a 25.3, but it's just a 1 lap off. But I think the race is going to be very tight. I think it's going to be a great event. I'm really looking forward to it.
And as we saw in the media and overall, Kyle Koch on pole.
Absolutely mind-blowing. I can't believe it. I couldn't believe it when I came into the pit lane and someone said to me, dude, you're number 1. And I'm like, no way. So a lot of hard work went into this. I've got to thank my coaches. I must thank Ernest Page. Thank you to everyone for their support. I thought I could do it, but now I know I can do it.
Let's see if he can do it after race 1, just after the break. Another big crowd stepping out to join us at the Killarney International Raceway for the penultimate round of GR Cup. The Briars are on the fire, and I think there's going to be some on-fire action pretty shortly as we get the 86s, Corollas and Yaris's onto the track for their first race of this penultimate round. A couple of guys looking forward to the action out there. Jason Coetzee, as we heard, looking to try and wrap up the title, as will be Nabil Abdul. It's going to be a little bit closer in the Corolla battle. It's not quite a mathematical chance there for Devon Scott still to sneak in, but let's see what happens between him and Mario D'Souza as they're about to roll out now for race 1. It is a big field of cars, and they're going to line up, as we saw, with Kyle Koch taking the overall. But of course, the 86s will start out front, and that'll give Jason Coetzee the advantage he needs to try and keep out the attack coming from Ken Swartz and Kanye Ngwenya. Ngwenya found some really great pace here this weekend, and so did Calvin Diaz. And the 86s head down into turn 1 with no sight or sound of Kyle Koch on pole just yet. Here he comes to the line. And look at the concentration levels here on Kyle as he tries to outgun the rest of the field, get the whole shot into turn 1 in front of his home crowd. the car magazine man. Look at the gap he's drawn. Wow, that's incredible. Up into second, that's Mario D'Souza. So D'Souza getting a good start as well. Nabil Abdul running wide. The Supersport man down into 4th place, possibly 5th as they come out of turn 1. That didn't quite work out there for the man who wants to take the championship. But remember, he's got to literally just finish up these 2 races today, and that championship in the media side of things will be wrapped up. As is the same deal here for the 86ers. But Ken Swartz is not going to give it up without a fight. Closing down on Jason Kutsia and giving his teammate from the karting fields an opportunity to have a bit more of a up-close and personal effect. Over the last couple of races, Jason's kind of got away from the rest of the pack. The only one who's really had the pace with him has been Kent. And you can see just how close they matched here in Cape Town, down towards Cape Town corner. The rest of the pack come flying through there, and it's a really great little battle. Expected to see there the 222 of Vanna Fenter joining the party there in his Corolla. He's actually got slightly ahead. Devon Scott coming along for the ride. We're on board here with Nabil. This is on board with Apollo and looking for an opportunity. What's he adjusting the radio station there? Yeah, it's a good idea. Smile FM might be the one you want to go for. They're the sponsors here today. As he heads onto the brakes and down into turn 5. Inside line, looking for a chance to squeeze through there. Great move there coming out of the 35 car of Devon Scott, but you can see Scott just not able to find a way through there on the slightly fatter machine there. That Corolla, a little bit wider than the Yaris. And it's just being shown how Vanna Fenter is keeping him out. They come across the line to complete that first lap in anger, and look how close it is. Absolutely nothing in it here between our dealers and media team. A lot closer than what they were earlier on in the year. Remember, the first time they came down here was the opening round, and it was the first time that a lot of these guys got into the cars. They're now used to these cars. They know exactly what they can get out of them, and you can hear just from some of the interviews we picked up on the drivers that they've all gone that much quicker this time out. Fantastic to see that. Massive improvements coming out of Lawrence Mini. Right on his tail is Charles Bosch. And there is Vatsi Makunyana as well getting into the mix too, as she gets closed down here big time. But there's some big battles a little bit further up. Pucci Mpanyana. What an amazing run there from Mpanyani. He has had a fantastic season. Now we go back to the front with the 86ers. Ken Swartz high onto the banking. Looking to try and cut back on the inside of Jason Kutsia. Kutsia will know exactly where to place that car. This is his home track. And he's saying to Ken Swartz, welcome to my house. Let's see if you can find a way past me. It's not going to be easy. Swartz is pushing hard though. As they come across, another lap completed. Behind that, it's Kanya Ngwenya and Calvin Diaz. And falling by the wayside there ever so slightly, you can see just the final part of the 86 Brigade in the hands of Makunyana. But I tell you, it's a really battle. That's a big battle that's going on here at the front end. There is no holds barred here from Ken Swartz, despite the fact that he's hardly got any opportunity here to maybe spoil the day for Jason. Jason with a win seals the deal. But Ken Swartz is going to try and make him work just as hard as he's done all season long to ensure that that title is not won without a big fight. And when it's an internal fight between two teammates that have been fighting not only here in Gazoo Racing's GR Cup, but also in their Development Academy karts, it's been unbelievably close between these two all season long. And I think that's why Kent is making him work for his money here in the closing stages of this 2025 championship. There's still one more round to go, so there's still a little bit of honor still to fight for. Let's go back into the mid-pack again, pick up on a few of these machines coming through there. You can see that was Putti under a bit of pressure though, trying to close things down there and get onto the back end of Nabil and of Devon Scott. Hasn't quite got the same kind of pace as them. Theo Brits into the mix there as well. Nice run from him, but back on board here with Nabil Abdul as he looks to try and maybe find a way through here. Down the back straight away, it's certainly going to be a bit of a slipstream city, as we said. Vitally important to try and use that slipstream to your advantage if you can. And Nabil has gone high and wide onto the banking. He's going to try and use this high line around the outside. But on the inside, Vanna Fenter's keeping him honest, and he's going to have to get a little bit onto the dirt. Yeah, had to go onto the dirt. Now switches lines, comes up and is going to go right against the wall here as they come down the main straight away. This Porsche straight is absolutely flat out in these cars, and you can see just how awesome that slipstream is. He gets sucked in slowly, looks for an opportunity under braking down into turn 1. Can he get there? No, he can't. Vanna shuts the door on him again. So the Corolla straight line speed, that little extra amount of kilowatts available in the Corolla compared to the Yaris, is certainly working well here in the sea-level circuit of Killarney. Nabil Abdul can see his arch rivals in this championship getting away. He'd love to seal the deal of wrapping this championship up with a victory, but he doesn't necessarily have to do it. So that's probably what's going on inside that helmet of his. He's contemplating whether he should fight that hard or maybe just settle for what is going to possibly be the first time we see him out of that top 5. And with that being out of the top 5, doesn't matter. The championship will still be his, and the Supersport man will be happy with that. Behind that, you can see closing in Lawrence Mini with a bit of pressure coming out from Theo Brits and Charles Bosch. Vanna Horn in there as well. Great to see maneuvers through the field there of the 33 car. Slowly but surely getting to grips with that car all season long, and now in the mix big time. Oof, a little bit hard on the brakes there from Cock. He's putting himself under pressure there as he comes down towards Cape Town corner and Fostron. As he comes out of that one, the Car Magazine man is looking to try and take this victory. You can see he's watching those rearview mirrors. The concentration level has not stopped here whatsoever in terms of what we saw off the line to what we're seeing right now as he crosses the line again. Oh, he's late on the brakes there. That's really good. Using his knowledge of the circuit to a very good advantage. And with that, pulling a small gap big enough to control over a hard-charging Mario de Souza. De Souza is normally a lot quicker down here in Cape Town, and we saw he went even quicker than he's ever been here before. But he doesn't seem to have an answer to the pace that's being set at the front end. Similar thing could be said here with Ken Swartz. He's matching that 86 in front of him of Jason Coetzee. But matching is something different to getting past and making it your own. And that's what he has to try and do. He's in the slipstream now. Is there going to be an opportunity? Jay will hold the inside line. Does so. Keeps the inside line on the white line there, which eventually at one point in time was used, of course, for the V8 supercars. This time it doesn't count, because on that rule, you'd have to stick to the line that you went to. So if you went left of that white line, you'd have to stay there. Doesn't apply with these guys. Sirens ablaze as somebody comes into pit lane, but these two are not coming in. They're going to fight it to the line, hammer and tongs, lights ablaze. Jason Coetzee takes the victory, and with that wraps up the 86 championship. What a bit of brilliant driving there from him. De Souza under a little bit of threat here right in the closing stages. Devon Scott has closed in on him. I don't think Dev's going to have an answer. Carl Cock is going to get the victory, of course, for the media and dealership challenge. He comes through for that win. It's his first win for Car Magazine. And his first win in the media side as well. Right behind him, though, pushing hard to the line, it's Mario de Souza who wins the dealership challenge, taking that from Devon Scott. Van Fenter behind them. Nabil Abdul will come through for second place in the media challenge, but down in ninth. That's not normally where we see him. But a fantastic effort nonetheless, and that will also seal the deal there for the Supersport man to take the championship in the media challenge. Great driving nonetheless behind them as well. Some fantastic battles all the way through the field, as we expected to see in amongst our Toyota Gazoo GR Racing Cup competitors. There is confirmation of race 1. Jason Coetzee taking the 86s ahead of Swartz, Ngwenya and Calvin Diaz. Carl Cock takes the Yaris's ahead of Nabil Abdul and Putti. And great job there from Mario de Souza, Scott and Fenter, your top three in the Corollas. Further down the field, great battle between Charles Bosch from the Citizen and Lawrence Mini from Auto Trader. Let's catch up now with Ken Swartz after that epic battle for the lead.
It was a really good battle. It was respectful, it was fair. I didn't really have any chances to overtake besides the final corner, and obviously, that corner is very banked. So if you get on the outside, you're a bit hung out to dry there. But it was really good defending from Jason, and I'm starting pole this next heat. So let's see if we can win.
Top of the dealership was Mario de Souza with the win in his Corolla.
When we lost four-wheel drive towards the end of the race, the Yaris doesn't have that issue, and he closed absolutely. He gave me a hard time. I had to defend for my life, but yeah, it was great. It was a win. He does a lot for the championship, opens the gap a little bit, and it makes it a little bit easier with 3 heats to go. So, but race 2, without a doubt, I think it's going to be a tough one. He's going to come for me for sure.
5th overall and winning the media challenge, Carl Cock for Car Magazine.
Absolutely fantastic. Pole position, fastest race lap, and then win. Just incredible feeling. The car started feeling a bit twitchy towards the end. I'd say the last 3 laps. I came off it a bit, but the gap was so big that it was quite safe to do so. I'm just really happy with the win.
Boys seem happy with their times. Let's see if they can keep those times up in race 2 after the break for Toyota Gazoo Racing GR Cup. Welcome back to the Killarney International Raceway, and we're looking forward to race 2 action now from Toyota Gazoo Racing's GR Cup. The Braais are absolutely fired up, and we saw some fired up action out on circuit between the 86s, Yaris's and Corollas, and more of the same. 2 championships are wrapped up. There's just one up for grabs. Mario de Souza versus Devon Scott. That's the one that's going to be sorted out here, possibly, but there's still a mathematical chance it may go down to the final round at Swartkorps. There's Devon and Mario hitting up and ready to go. Let's see how that battle unfolds now as they roll out for race 2. A couple of epic little battles in the mid-pack to watch out for again. And I think the resumption of what happened at the front end And will Ken Swart spoil the day for the newly crowned champion in the 86s, Jason Gutsia? Swart starts from pole. We heard that from him just before the break, and heads down towards turn 1. Jason Gutsia is going to try and outgun him though, and you can see a good start coming out of Calvin Diaz. A much better start from Calvin this time out as he outguns down into turn 1 Kanye and Gwenya. As they come through there, Ken Swartz gets the whole shot. Oh, it's a little bit sideways out of the exit point. But with that back end stepping out, Jason Gutsia can see an opportunity to maybe pounce early on and drives around the outside of Swartz into Castrol Corner at turn 2. Here comes Diaz, just tucked in behind, looking for a chance to maybe pounce and squeeze away. Can he get away past? No, he can't. Has to just tuck in behind. But there we go, inside line. That's the Cape Town knowledge coming into play right there. Jay knew exactly what to do to set that up, and Ken Swartz didn't see it coming. The door opened up, and Jason Gutsia hits the front. Ooh, in the background of the start, yeah, we got some action already. That's the way we like to start things out. Brilliant stuff, guys. Fighting and fending for opportunities on and off track. And the 50 car getting completely out of shape there. Putty, where are you going, buddy? I know there's a Rallycross Championship course on the right-hand side, but you don't have to test it out in these cars. Stay on the black stuff. It's going to be much better. Koch has got the whole shot and maintains the lead for now. Can he keep it all together now heading into this first lap of action? As they come flying through there, you can see even in the background some good driving from both the Bunzaiers and from Willem van der Putte. Much better start there from him. Van der Horn will be looking to just improve his position from where he finished up in race number 1 and hopefully get into the mix there with Charles Bosch and Minnie. They had a fantastic battle, those two. But out front, it's Carl Koch. And that is Devon Scott in second place. Mario de Souza's in third. So Scott has moved up one position, and that's exactly what he needs to do to keep this championship alive. Devon has to beat Mario here. And if that's the case, by the time we get to Swartkops, that championship will only be wrapped up at the home of the GR Racing Academy. Let's have a look at this one more time. On board here, as we see, that's Putty running wide. Great catch from him. And I think a little bit of just stepping out of shape and fortunately able to get past on the inside line when Putty going back onto the circuit. Very lucky to be avoided there. Back on board here with Nabil Abdul as they come out of turn 1. Looking for a chance now. Is he going to run wide? Oh, he's ran wide very, very big time there. And you can see just how hard they are pushing there. Nabil wants to try and catch Carl Koch and show him that this is only a one-off opportunity to try and win the media challenge. Not the way that Carl Koch is driving though, Nabil. I can tell you right now, he's going to be a difficult man to catch, even for Devon and for Mario, in both the slightly quicker and more powerful Corollas. The Yaris's are exceptionally nimble, but with the all-wheel drive system in those Corollas, they definitely work well. And as they head up now onto that back straightaway towards the tricky right-handers of Sorrel Sweep, we go on board with Vanna. Vanna Horn trying to close that gap down. You can see just up the road there from him, the battle he wants to be in. And it's going to be a 5-way battle if he can just bridge the small gap that's opened up. It looks a little bit bigger than it does in terms of the actual reality there from the camera's point of view, but he's a lot closer. Here comes Nabil. What did Nabil find for breakfast or for lunch? Because, man alive, that was late braking to get through on Devon Scott down in towards turn 5, Fostron corner. Runs a bit wide, but he can do that because of the banking. And I think that's why he tried to go so late on the brakes. That was brilliant driving there from Nabil Abdul. Up to second place now, and now looking to try and close down on race 1 winner, Carl Koch from Car Magazine. The rest of the pack coming through there. This is going to be a fantastic finish to the second race. Devon Scott's bringing Mario along for the ride. Vanna is joining them as well. Fenter's not too far behind. And then just in the background, you can see them spreading out. There is Bosch on the inside. Is that a Citizen Motoring man having a go at the Auto Trader man? It is. He hasn't done that all season long. I think as they looked across there, Van Horn's going, hang on a second, what is happening at the front end here? This is not usually what happens between these three drivers. Oh, and Putty had to go wide on the defensive as there was a bit of a maneuver coming there from Bosch. Bosch tried to find a way through there on the Auto Trader car of Mini, had nowhere to go. Then the Times Live man snuck in there. So it's just action aplenty there for what is going to be about 8th, 9th and 10th place on circuit. First and second stay the same. It's Jason Gutsia. You can see those hazard lights coming on as the ABS system kicks in these cars. They run the standard option on these cars. There's no major modifications done to them other than a little bit of an upgrade on the brakes to let them not overheat as much under the threat and, of course, the intensity that comes from Gazoo Racing Cup. Down towards turn 1. This is the rear-facing shot of the newly crowned champion, and no answer from Ken Swartz as they head towards Hulls Hook. Further back, this is the second pack into this media and dealership challenge. The NMI car leading things out at the moment and keeping the boys from the media at bay. And as I said, these three particularly coming to Cape Town for the first time at the beginning of the year were a lot slower than what they are right now. They have certainly found their their roots here in terms of Toyota Gazoo racing, and they've got opportunities here to be in the front end of the field battles as opposed to the back end where they were earlier on. Is a bit of rain coming there? No, I think Vanna just hit the wrong indicator there as he came across the line, giving a little bit of a clean of the windscreen there to get some clear vision to catch the Auto Trader car, who's dropped to the back of that pack now. Wow, Lawrence Mini dropping to the wayside as they come under a threat here. I can tell you there's nothing in it. Theo Brits hangs on for now, but it's sideways from Mini, it's inside line from Bosch, and it's Putty who snuck through and got up into second place of this little fight. Best onboard shot here coming from Vanna. He's doing a great job as our onboard cameraman here, giving us action of what's happening out front with the 4 cars, all fighting hard, coming out of Damstip. Now as they head up onto the short straight. Oh, someone's run wide there. I think that might have been Charles Bosch who ran a bit wide. He comes straight across the nose and nearly cuts the nose off there of Lawrence Mini. I think it might. Oh, Mini's out of shape. Mini's out of shape. They're big time in Sorrel Sweep. You can see just the green livery there on that car. Tells me it's the Auto Trader car. And he seems to have caught it, I think. Yes, he's just in the background, back on track. Fortunately, lucky to catch that one. A lot of guys have gone off there. Just speak to Keegan Campos about that corner. He'll tell you all about it. Here is the NMR car. What a great bit of driving here from Brits. Fending off the attack from 3 of the top media challenge boys now. Front end, it's still Kutsia in the 86s. Hanging on for Ken Swartz, and he's not going to let him through at all. He wants to wrap this up with a double victory at his home circuit. He's already taken the championship. He wants the swan song now. And to wrap it up with the double victory, we'll give him that. It's not going to be easy though. Ken Swartz is still pushing hard. Ken Swartz wants to spoil his day yet slightly and at least take one of the victories here at Jason Kutsia's home track. He's got to be a lot closer through Sorrel Sweep to do that though. The slipstream ability is going to be lost there, and Jason Kutsia might hang on. He's heading to the line for the swan song victory he wanted. 2 wins out of 2 starts at his home track, wrapping up the title for the 86 Brigade in Toyota Gazoo Racing GR Cup. Ken Swartz has been found wanting. Hazard lights come on that car, and as they come out of Cape Town and Fostron corner, it is Jason Kutsia heading to the line and for a double victory here today at his home track. Exactly what him and his dad and mom wanted. A fantastic season from this young man, and great job from Ken Swartz as well for second. He'll come through there and wrap up a fantastic battle for today's action from the 86 Brigade. Further back in the pack though, still not done. They're catching onto the back end of Vatsiar Makanyana. First time that I think she's not going to be lapped here, or she might just squeezed out by Carl Koch. He has to get past her, otherwise Nabil Abdul is going to bounce and make him pay. He wants a double victory, and Carl Koch is going to get that for the media challenge. Well done to the Car Magazine man, beating Supersports man to the line. But Nabil Abdul will still be crowned champion. Let's go and have a look at what happened on that last lap with Lawrence Mini. We saw him get out of shape just in the foreground of our shot. This is Vanna Horn's point of view as they go into Sorrel Sweep. And he just gets a little bit lit up. Those Dunlops were crying out, saying no more, and nowhere to go for Vanna. T-Bone City and Sorrel Sweep. That ended up a lot worse for wear than what I actually thought happened. But anyway, those two would get back on track. On the revised results, Ken Swartz was given the victory ahead of Calvin Diaz. Carl Koch finished 3rd overall in the Arises, beating everybody else. And Vatsi, incredibly, first time out for her on the podium in the 86s. Vanna Horn would eventually finish down in 19th place, 2 laps down after that big incident between himself and Lawrence Mini coming out of Sorrel Sweep. This is what it looked like. Let's find out from the man himself what it felt like.
Yeah, so the guy in front of me spun out and went right in front of me. I tried to avoid it, but it was just too fast. Then I hit him on the side.
On the revised results, Jason Kutsia was down in 8th place.
Yeah, I think that's a bit delayed, but I think we should have it for the final round. But yeah, I think all in all it's been really good. I think today, especially the turnaround, yesterday we had 1 or 2 issues, but yeah, I mean the team did a fantastic job putting it all back together. So I couldn't be more grateful for Leroy, the whole entire Toyota team. Thank you so much.
Carl Koch with the double victory, a happy man.
Fastest in qualifying, fastest in race 1. 1 win, 2 wins. Amazing feeling. Thanks guys, thanks for watching. Thank you to Toyota Gazoo Racing South Africa. Amazing feeling.
Devon Scott's victory keeps the championship alive between the dealership boys heading to Swartkops.
I had to redeem myself after the first one, and it really went well. I tried to hang on to the back of Carl, but he just managed to get away from me. And then towards the end of the race, unfortunately, I overtemped the tyres a little bit, so I was fighting, and then Mario came back at me. And I think he may have taken the overall. We're still trying to do a bit of maths, but what an absolute joy. It was so much fun. It was such a privilege to do this. And what a beautiful setting and beautiful cars, and they all stayed together. And once again, thank you to Glenn, to Alan, to Rian, to Anthea, to absolutely everyone involved, and to Paulie, and then obviously Leroy and his team for putting this all together, and our sponsors Dunlop and Nedstar and Toyota. What a testament to the products. Tyres lasted, cars lasted, and we had a fantastic weekend in Cape Town.
We head back to the Highveld and to the capital city just west of it, to the Swartkorps International World of Motoring, the home of the Extreme Festival, the home of Gazoo Racing's GR Racing Academy, and looking forward to wrapping up this championship for 2025. 2 of the 3 championships are pretty much done and dusted. We'll have to wait and see what's going to happen in that dealership challenge between Devon Scott and Mario D'Souza. That's going to be the big one as we head into the final 2 races of the 2025 championship on the 25th of October. Make sure you join us for all that action. All this GR Cup action was proudly brought to you by Toyota Gazoo Racing.